More work needed on the xl250s. I've known about this problem since I bought it, or shortly after I bought it, but we have a massive leak on the final drive oil seal. I mean, it started off as a tiny little weep, which was acceptable, but now it's got to the point where it is properly knackered and we have to remove it. And unfortunately, to change that oil seal, we have to take the whole engine apart, almost every nut and bolt, and the reason being is that the seal is held in by the two case halves. It has a flange on it, I suppose, which locks into the two case halves, and the only way to get it out and to get a new one in is to split the case, which is a major job, which is why I've been putting it off so long. While we're there, we'll have a look at a little bit of an oil leak here on the rocker cover, and I think there's another leak somewhere else, but we'll have a look at those. My big worries, major worries, are the heads on these are known for cracking, and I don't know if there's a crack in it or not, and the only way to find out is by taking it apart. The other thing that worries me is the bearings that are behind the seal down here, no longer available. If that's knackered, we might have to have one made, or just quit and go home, go down the pub. But either way, as a person who's not a mechanic, this is quite a big job. So this is the first motorcycle engine I will have taken apart, and as is always the way, I'm sure bolts will seize, threads will strip out, springs will fly across rooms, you know the sort of shit I'm talking about. Anyway, battery's about to run out, so I'm just going to start pulling this thing apart, drain the oil. I won't film this bit, but I'll film a bit later on when I'm a bit into it. Right. Okay, it's the next day and the weather is awful. We've done a little bit of work on the bike. We took the tank off and the saddles off, and the airbox came out and the carburetor came out, and we've disconnected the clutch cable, we've disconnected the rear brake cable and assembly. What else have we done? Oh, and disconnected the electrics from the engine. So really all we need now is to disconnect the chain and drop the engine out, remove the engine bolts, and I think that should be it. And the weather out there is awful. Okay, that is the offending oil seal. That is the reason we're having to do all this work. When it's cold, it doesn't leak any oil at all, but as soon as it gets hot, this literally drips out to the point where you start to worry that you will run the engine dry if you do any distance on it, and you have to keep topping it up. So the job is get that seal out, and to do that you have to split the case along this line here, which is a pain in the ass. You can see all the crap that's built up here. It just turns into like grinding paste. So there we go, the reason we're doing this. Right, an hour of battling. Actually it wasn't battling, it was really easy, which is testament to the Honda engineers. The thing came out with a bit of a wiggle. All the bolts, some of them were actually loose, all the bolts came out easily, and it is now sat in the workroom. The first job is to clean it, because it is disgustingly cruddy, covered in oil and grime and dirt that, despite being washed, still remains on there. I took the rocker covers off and I put them in a bag with everything written on it, where it goes, what it is. I intend to do that for the whole project, otherwise I'm going to get confused and forget where anything goes. So yeah, so I'm going to set the camera up and we'll get to taking the rocker cover off. Okay, note to future self. They look identical, but the one with the loose nut is at the bottom. Easy, huh? Looks brand new. The journals look good too. That's one less fear.